Only getting started when it's midnight, keeping it tight if a nigga wanna go to war. It can get dark but we stay bright, coming like a night, it's on sight, ever touch my sleeve. Niggas around there wanna disagree when it's clear that I'm speaking facts. Man like me, you know I'm proactive, never gonna stop till I see the big man's on.
Well, it started raining, that's good. Every interval for the first 5 were the perfect pace, and that last one was the same pace but felt 10 times harder because I was sprinting straight into the rain. So annoying. I'm gonna give it 10 minutes and see. I don't even care if the rain stops. I just need it to not be like this. This is horrendous. You're thinking I was out there for what, 3 minutes in the rain? This is what I look like? No, not good. If it rains on the Great North Run, I might just call it. Right, nah, not today. Right, well now the plan is to change into my other shoes. Change into my other shoes and then do the next 5 intervals. But I will see if this slows down the rain in the next 10 minutes and then I'll start. If it doesn't, I'm gonna have to just go regardless, but I'll try and give it a bit of time. This episode we're gonna go through more nutrition based stuff, and I forgot to say that halfway through I'm gonna be having one of my gels. I have either 1 or 2 gels a day, so we're off to a great start on the nutrition side of it when I can open them. I might be able to open this one, we'll see. I'll try my best.
It can be obsessive, it could be intensive, it could be explosive, it could be offensive. Don't be defensive, don't be aggressive, it will be a waste cause we could be expensive. You need a little fee in your life, you need a little me in your life. I wanna see the sea in your eyes, you need to be free. Hey.
Move, move, body, move, move your body,
That was the last interval session that we're going to do before the Great North Run. That's my last track session before the Great North Run. If I get on a track next week, it'll be to do an easy run in my actual race day shoes. Everything went to plan, so apart from the rain, the first 5k in my normal training shoes, the older ones, they were all at a 4. Where's my? 1 sec. This bit gets cut out anyway. The first 5 were all at a 25 average pace. They all took around 3 minutes 30 to get around the track twice. Then we changed our shoes, and from then on, the average pace for the next 3 kilometers was a 4:20. Actually went 4:22, 4:20, 4:19. So it got faster as we went on. And the whole point was to try and run the same pace as I ran in the first 5, but it feel easier, and we did that. It did feel easier. I then dropped down to my racing pace for the last 2 because my hip started to hurt a little bit and I started to feel a bit sick. So I dropped down to 4:45, which I'm hoping is going to be the pace for the Great North Run. Because if I ran at 4:45, then my final time would be sitting around like 1:40 to 1:45 for a Great North Run, which is, again, really good for what I thought I'd be able to get. I only wanted to get under 2 hours. So yeah, hopefully that goes down well. The session that we just did there, it wasn't exactly a taper session because we were putting some effort in, but I wasn't going anywhere near my highest effort that I could go. My average heart rate was around 145. Bearing in mind, like, my max heart rate when I run normally stays around 175 to 180, and I can maintain that for at least 10 kilometers so far is what I found out. So just seeing what happens on the day, it'll be pretty exciting. See what we can do. We're gonna drive back home to cook some food, and then I'll answer other questions as well while we're doing that. But yeah, it was fun. I had fun, apart from the rain, and now I'm soaking. But the actual run itself was pretty fun. It's good to know that it feels easy. That was the whole, you know what I mean? It's good stuff. All right, I'll see you in a bit.
We're at my mom's house. I don't want you looking at my kitchen on YouTube. My mom's kitchen though. That's fine. I'm not even actually cooking. Imagine just tapping the pan. Right, I'll answer some questions from Instagram. So, first question, big question. Do you know the Muffin Man? Yes, I do know the Muffin Man. He lives on Drury Lane. Right, real questions. What is a good meal to have before/after a run? So Obviously everyone's individual with this one, and also it depends on the length of the run. Before a run, I normally have the same thing every time, which would be some sort of isotonic type drink, like on the way. That could be like a Lucozade Sport, a Powerade, or anything that has some like glycogen in it. And then before our run would be about 15 minutes before, a banana, and then maybe a running gel. That would be for like a normal everyday run, like a 10 or a 5K. I would probably be looking at having, if it was a longer run, like a half marathon, then I'd be upping my carbohydrates before, but a bit longer beforehand. So maybe like an hour and a half before, I'd have some porridge oats, which are like a go-to, which I actually had this morning before my run today. Yeah, and then after your run, obviously you want to replenish glycogen stores so that you can recover faster. So after a run, I will be looking at having some sort of fast carbohydrate or even slow carbohydrate, something like pasta or rice, or if you like need it desperately, then sometimes I'll have like pancakes with golden syrup on or honey, just to get more carbohydrates in. And then with my, obviously trying to maintain muscle mass as well, I'd normally have a protein bar, which I save protein bars for after I've just trained. Or a protein shake would be a good shot as well. But yeah, in terms of food, that's the easiest options to go about that one. What's the best training split for a Hyrox? This one, I'm going to assume that they, like in terms of training for a Hyrox, I'm going to take bodybuilding out because I try and do both, try and maintain muscle. So I'm thinking in terms of Hyrox, training split wise, you've got a lot of different disciplines that you need to be focusing on when you're training for a Hyrox. So disciplines would be you running, your functional fitness on the stations, which is like muscular endurance, and then you need your strength to be higher than it was so that you can move things like the sleds and like carry yourself through some of the stations really well. So in terms of training, before you get close to an event, like a Hyrox event, and you're just practicing, I would be looking at doing circuit training at least twice a week, which involve just the stations with no running. I would also be doing running each week separate. So that would be 2 easy runs and 1 sort of harder run, like at a minimum, and then you can increase either a shorter, harder run or adding on more easy running or increasing the distances of the running just to get the zone 2 in. I would also then look at doing a session purely on the ski erg and the row, just to try and get them to like functional movements down really well. And then lastly, I'd say 1 to 2 strength sessions. I don't think you really need more than 1 as long as you're using it well. It's probably going to take a little while to get through the strength session, but you're looking at doing like barbell squats, heavy lunges, more mobility like RDLs, maybe some sort of like a stiff-legged deadlift or a rack pull or something like that, where you're going to use your lower back as well. You should try and split up Hyrox training, and this is going off what the pros do and also like just reading up on it. So you should be looking at trying to do an easy day followed by a hard day followed by an easy day. Your best bet would probably be if it's like a generic like Monday to Sunday week, you would probably benefit from doing a easy day Monday, hard day Monday, easy Tuesday, hard Wednesday, easy Thursday, hard Friday, and then you would do a rest on either Saturday or Sunday, and the other one would be like a longer easy run, or you can do some sort of easy interval where you go in fast for short bursts and then it's quite slow for a longer burst. You want to put your strength work onto a harder day ideally, and you could probably say, for example, if Monday was a hard day and you wanted to do some strength work like barbell squats and lunges, you could follow that up with a leg-based circuit, so your legs are getting hit hard with the strength work, and then you might follow that up with like some wall balls, some lunges for distance or for time, something with like a weighted burpee, like a devil press. Add that all into that conditioning day at the end, so do like a short circuit. Your easy day the next day could be your erg work followed by a slow run. Then your next hard day, you'd be looking at doing a threshold session in a circuit. So Wednesday could be like a hard, do burpee broad jumps, EMOMs with burpees, wall balls, weighted lunges, and then do like a little rest and keep repeating that over and over again. Just pick the stations that you want to practice on. Then another easy day, which could just be like a longer run, And then Friday, again, you could do a hard day, but you could focus on like, so sled push, sled pull. You can throw in some sort of like dumbbell deadlifts or snatches into that as well to try and use full body. And then Saturday or Sunday, rest one of them, do an easy day on the other. That's a very like busy week of training, but depending on how much time you have available to you, it could be a really good and useful week of training. It's definitely going to help you reach the goals of getting better at high rocks. But then again, some people have more time, so they could like increase the amount of time they spend on the easy work. Some people have less time, which means that you probably want to be doing shorter threshold sessions, but your intensity should be higher, which is normally what mine are. I don't normally go over 45 minutes to an hour on a session if I don't have to, so I can try and spend as much time working and with family as I can. And then last question, what is better in my opinion, doing 3 to 4 sets of 12 reps and upping the weight every time, or doing 2 to 3 sets heavy to failure? So both of these are going to do well. I'm assuming this is in terms of bodybuilding. Both of them are going to do well to like build muscle and strength. I would enjoy training the 2 to 3 sets heavy to failure because I know the session isn't going to last as long, and also if you can recover well between sessions, you're probably going to get the same amount out of doing less sets than you will doing like more sets of 12. Really, if you can and you would like to do both of those, if you were to follow like a simple split, like a upper lower split where you do upper lower, you could probably do both rep ranges and just like have one day which is to failure the whole time, and that'll be quite a struggle. And then the other day can be a easier day where you stop with like a rep in reserve, and you can recover well from both sessions because one of them's slightly easier than the other. So that means that you can do both of them ways where you're doing like either sets of 12 a bit lighter, or you're doing sets to failure. It means that your recovery is going to be really good and you can enjoy your training by having both thrown in. So I got called weird for doing this. Do you know obviously when you got the pasta sauce and then the chicken and the pasta? Well, I just like behind weird. Apparently I'm supposed to, drain the pasta, put the chicken in that bowl and then put the sauce in, mix it all together while it's cooking. But I just put the chicken in the bowl, put the pasta in, put the sauce on top, mix it while it's in the bowl. Apparently I'm not like, you can't do that. I was like, why not? I don't enjoy cooking. You know when you get like the nice pasta bake sauce? You like have like half a bottle and half a jar of it is like 150 calories. And then you pick this one up, which is the most boring looking pasta bake sauce ever. But half a jar of this is 60 calories. So it's like such a stupid thing to find, but like it is really helpful in other stuff. And then I had a few sprays of this as well. So in a day I would be having, I'll tell you what the non-negotiables are and what changes. So non-negotiable wise, I have, when I'm on my way, because I PT most mornings at 6-7 o'clock, so banana on the way there, and I would have a bottle of water with OxyShred and a scoop of OxyShred, which is my like caffeine for the day, and then creatine monohydrate. I have 2 scoops of that, so it's about 10 grams each day. A scoop of that, 2 scoops of this, and then banana. That's on the way to PT. And then I would be looking at having, so the non-negotiables that don't change would be the gels and the chicken and the pasta. So every day I have 600 grams of chicken, 200 grams uncooked pasta, and 2 gels at a minimum. Sometimes I have 1 gel depending on how hard the training session was. And then the things that I can change about if I fancy it would be the protein bar. I can swap, because normally I'd have a white grenade Oreo bar, or I can swap that out with just a normal protein shake, which frees up like 150 calories, something else if I want it. But yeah, so protein bar would be that one. And then the only other thing really would be some sort of carb. A 250 ml can of Red Bull is always around 12 o'clock. I drink that at. And then these little golden syrup porridge things that I had today, 2 of those were a carbohydrate meal. But again, if I'm literally just sitting at home and I've got Honey Nut cornflakes in the cupboard, I will just have cereal instead. But whatever that meal is, it has to be around 500 calories of just carbs. So my daily comes to 2,700 calories, pretty much bang on. Around 400 grams of carbohydrates, 35 grams of fat, and just over 200 grams of protein. So the reason why I'm so set on having like this amount of chicken and then the protein bar is because if I have a really terrible day with food and I don't know what I'm doing, but I've had 600 grams of chicken and a protein bar, I'm up to like 175 grams of protein for the day, which is more than anyone normal would have, but that's how much you should be having if you're trying to keep muscle and get stronger. So it's just confidence knowing that I'm going to have a guaranteed amount of protein. Sometimes when people are starting out with the coaching and they can't hit a goal, we literally just pick like, to start off with, they'd have 200 grams of chicken breast and you like put that into a meal and you just have to have that much a day. And then over time you either increase it or you add stuff in. And then without even realizing they've done it, by the end of the day, they're at 140 grams of protein when last week they were having like 20. So it's just like little small changes that get implemented, make a big difference. I've built up to being able to have this every day. So these 2 meals probably look big portions, but to me they're very small, like they're nothing. When I go into high rocks prep after the Great North Run and my body weight can go back up a little bit again, then I will probably be looking at increasing my calories again to about like 3,300-ish, just to feel strong while I'm doing the stations. But yeah, that's pretty much it. In terms of the food, the next thing that we'll be doing in the video is my lower body conditioning. So that's going to be some squats, some lunges, some mini circuit type of things, and then abs. So we'll cut to that and I'll explain everything when I get to the gym.
I'm gonna do a 5-minute warm up on the bike, and then I'm gonna head over to the squat rack. I'm gonna do seated squats. So our plan is to do between 80 and 100 kilos, a set of 8. I'll decide how I feel when I start doing them. And then we'll have goblet squat, like reverse lunges. So holding the dumbbell in front to use my core. I've got some sets on the leg extension leg curls, calf raises, and then it's 100 leg raises on the ab machine, and then 100 sit-ups, and then that's the whole session. So it's just like some leg conditioning, but nothing too crazy, just to make sure my legs feel all right. Especially on the bodybuilding exercises like leg extensions and leg curls, I'm going really light, just doing more reps. So I've got 2 minutes left on here, then I'll get started, and then I'll be end of the day's training. So going tomorrow, we're doing a park run with the team. So we've got about 10 to 12 people coming along to a park run tomorrow, which will be really fun. I had a good day. The running track was fun. The rain was a nightmare, but the running track itself was really fun. It's good to know I can run at a good speed, but yeah, and do it. We need like an actual sign off somewhere. Do you know I was watching the guy, the Floberg? Have you seen the Floberg Runs guy? Did you watch him? When he's doing his no time series, and he says something. He's like, I'm doing 100 sit-ups a day. He's like, I'll have abs in no time, and then it goes like bang. I've seen it. It looks. Right, we'll have a good sign off soon. That's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.